They called it a state visit. They said it's about trade. They talked about enhancing ties, economic cooperation. But while the cameras were still flashing in Dar es Salaam, the mask finally slipped off.
Tuka tunazungumza jinsi ya kudeal na hawa watoto wetu watovu wa adabu.
And what we saw underneath was not a partnership. It was a pact between three leaders who have realized one terrifying thing, that the youth are no longer afraid.
All presidents of East Africa must respect the rule of law. The rule of law is non-negotiable.
And now, the big brother and the big sister of the region are now coaching William Ruto on how to become a dictator.
Recently, I met some Gen Z from Kenya that they are experts in organizing riots.
Tusichague wa Tanzania au wa Kenya. Wakija kwangu na chapa mikwaju, wakija kwako chapa mikwaju.
Mambo ya kupiga vijana mikwaju iliisha.
Let's talk about it. If you love this kind of content, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Now let's get to the video.
Rais wa Tanzania Samia Suluhu sasa ametaka ushirikiano kati ya Kenya na Tanzania katika kukabiliana na wanaharakati wa kidemokrasia kutoka kwa vijana.
All this happened before the Tanzanian parliament. Before President William Ruto could even take the stand, Samia Suluhu Hassan decided to go off the script.
Yanapotokea maovu Tanzania vivyo hivyo. Leo tulikuwa tunazungumza na Rais Ruto asubuhi.
She didn't talk about trade balance. She didn't talk about free trade between Kenya and Tanzania. She talked about our children. She talked about Gen Zs being East Africans' problem.
Eti na wenyewe wanajifanya ni hao wa East Africa. Kwa hiyo popote wanakwenda kupigania democracy.
She talked about them being a mayhem.
Kwa hiyo wafanye fujo huku, wafanye fujo huku, wachome huku, wadisturb serikali zao.
And then she made a promise that she should handle her end of the bargain. She said she would handle it by beating them, using the word mikwaju. That would mean strokes, cane, in short, violence.
Nikamwambia Ruto, we have to send firm on this watovu wa adabu hao. Tusichague wa Tanzania au wa Kenya. Wakija kwangu na chapa mikwaju.
She told William Ruto right there in front of the whole world that he should do the same once he goes back to Kenya.
Wakija kwangu na chapa mikwaju, wakija kwako chapa mikwaju. Ili wakae sawa.
Think about that. A foreign president telling our own leader to go home and beat his own citizens into silence. But here is the problem. You see, Samia, Kenya is not Tanzania. And the mikwaju that you use to silence your people will only set the mountain on fire in Kenya. This is Kenya.
Sasa tunataka kuambia Samia Suluhu Hassan, sisi ni wa Kenya. Sisi ni wa Kenya bwana. Na sisi hatuogopi. Sisi sio kama wa Tanzania. Hapa Kenya rais ni mfanyakazi wetu. Yes. Kenya rais sio boss wetu. Yes. Samia Suluhu Hassan na Watanzania wajue. Yes. Kenya rais sio boss wetu. Sisi ndio bosses wake. Yes.
But someone might ask, why is Samia so confident? I'll tell you the answer. It's because she thinks that her formula worked. We remember November 2025.
Tanzania's opposition claims that security forces are secretly dumping the bodies of hundreds killed during the election unrest.
We remember the streets of Dar es Salaam flowing with blood.
Reports say hundreds, maybe up to 700 people have lost their lives.
We remember her having won the victory with almost 98% of the votes.
The incumbent president secured 97.66% of the vote. This is unprecedented in the country's history.
We remember the landslide victory that was built on bodies of young Tanzanians who just wanted a choice. By barring the opposition, by jailing activists, by using excessive force, she stayed in power. And now, she's looking at William Ruto, the most unpopular president in Kenyan history, the man Kenyans already have vowed he's a one-term president. She's looking at him and saying, look at me. I was supposed to lose, but I'm still here. Follow my lead.
Kwa namwambia mwenzangu, hebu tusimame mguu sawa kulinda hizi nchi zetu.
It is not advice. It is a manual for survival, for trouble, for violence.
It looks like she wants to now export brutality, export autocracy.
But it is not just Samia. You look to the west and you see Yoweri Museveni.
Uganda's January 2026 elections were marked by tensions over disputed results which degenerated into violence.
The man who has held Uganda in his fist for over 40 years, he's already joining the chorus. He told Ruto the other day that he disciplined some Kenyan Gen Zs who had gone to his country. He bragged about sending them back.
It was definitely a miscalculation for the schemers to imagine that they can use such anti-people techniques in a country led by the original National Resistance Army.
38 days of abduction was not easy. We didn't think we were going to come out alive because we were being abducted by the military. We have been kept by the military in Uganda for this, under the Special Forces Command.
Watch the pattern. Museveni is in the north, Samia is in the south, and Ruto is in the middle. Simply put, the unholy trinity of East Africa is forming a wall against democracy.
Neno democracy lisituchafulie nchi zetu wala mila zetu wala desturi zetu. Democracy haina formula. Democracy ya kule mbali tofauti na ya kwetu huku.
They are giving William Ruto moral support for 2027.
Sisi kwetu tuna mila zetu na desturi zetu zinazokwenda na hiyo democracy. Kwa hiyo kwa namwambia mwenzangu, hebu tusimame mguu sawa kulinda hizi nchi zetu.
They're telling him, don't worry about the polls, don't worry about the hate. We have the guns, we have the boots. Oh, we have the mikwaju.
So this business of imagining that when Kenyan youth speak out regarding Tanzania's democracy or lack thereof, that they are somehow being ill-mannered, is totally lost. That is not African culture.
They simply want to turn Kenya, the last beacon of hope in the region, into a graveyard of silence. It will not happen.
President Samia Suluhu telling Mr. Mastugo to beat Asokwajo, and all I can say is that the only thing that will save any dictator in Africa is if they change their ways and start to serve the people, because we the people will always decide, and it is time for Africa to decide. You cannot decide for us and force us to are there.
But here's the irony. As a matter of fact, they say there is no honor among thieves. Because even within these three, there's no honor. Ruto went to Tanzania and did what he does the best. He lied.
Internationally, we are very embarrassed. But the embarrassment of the Kenyan nation yesterday in Tanzania is very painful.
He started announcing a multi-billion-dollar refinery in Tanga. He told the world that it was going to be a joint regional project. And then Samia Suluhu called him out live on camera. She looked at him and basically said, I do not know what you're talking about.
Nilimbana Ruto. Kaambia umekwenda kutangaza refinery Tanga. Mbona mimi sijui?
Think about that.
William Ruto has launched fake projects here in Kenya. He keeps announcing projects that do not exist. The man has become so bold that he is now announcing non-existent projects in a neighboring country.
You're so addicted to fake promises that you even try to lie to a fellow dictator about her own country.
It's so embarrassing to our country that a president from Kenya goes to Tanzania to announce that there will be a project in Tanga for oil refinery when the president of the country is not even aware of such a project.
I mean, if he can lie to his big sister in public, what makes you think that he's not going to try and lie to us about 2027? What makes you think that he's telling us the truth about the economy?
You know, it's a kind of insolence, impunity. You know, he has lied to Kenyans so much that he has no qualms about going to lie to the people of Tanzania.
The man is a political nomad, wandering from one lie to the next, hoping that no one is going to notice that the ground beneath him is already disappearing.
I don't know what's going to happen in East Africa, but so far, things are not looking so rosy.
Yes.
And it looks like there's some oppression being planned.
Samia Suluhu Hassan tried to pick a fight with Kenyan Gen Zs. She thought she was speaking to a submissive audience, but she forgot one thing. Kenyans don't keep quiet.
Raisi sisi tunamlipa mshahara. Yes. Raisi ni mfanyakazi wetu kama wa Kenya. ni mfanyakazi wetu, na sisi hatuogopi rais. Tunamheshimu lakini hatumuogopi.
We saw what we did in Tanzania. We saw what Museveni did in Uganda. And what we are telling you now is, keep your mikwajo across the border. Kenya is not a laboratory for dictatorship. William Ruto might be your student, but here in Kenya, he has to answer to us. And in 2027, no amount of advice from Dar es Salaam or Kampala will save a man who his own people have said enough, have said one term, have said Ruto must go. Subscribe.